Should AI help make life or death decisions in war? That is what we're going to be talking about today in this podcast. First, let's talk about where is drone AI autonomous warfare currently. Me and Max were just doing some research, and currently it's being used a lot around the world, specifically in the Ukraine-Russia war.
Yeah.
And we saw about how there's a ton of different ways that AIs are being used in swarms, with wires, with AI, with operators. And then there's also the ways that they're being the counteroffense. We saw missiles.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. We saw the jamming, the high frequency beam, just like shotguns too.
Yeah, and how they're putting stuff like that, like they're using drones against drones too. So like, I don't know, drones really just taking over the war at this point.
Yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
Also how the U.S. Pentagon released that they're going to spend $75 billion on drones.
Yeah, which that's almost 3 times the value of all the drone companies in the U.S. combined. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Significant amount of money. And we wanted to start with this, like, hypothetical. Imagine a drone loses connection with its pilot because the battlefield is being jammed and it keeps tracking a target anyway using AI. If it hits the wrong vehicle, who made that decision?
Yeah, who's accountable?
That's the question we're going to be trying to answer today. So we want to talk about the different types of ways drones operate, right? And so there's really 3. We found there's just normal remote control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and Max were just, controlling with our controller and we can see it. Number 1. The other one is AI assisted. Now, this is what's being used in Russia right now. And what happens is that the drone operators, they fly the drone until they find the target. Let's say the target's this tank, right? As soon as they see the tank, they lock in on the tank. As soon as that happens, then the AI takes over and it goes and it just crashes into the tank and explodes. That's one of the methods.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI is actually locally, it runs in the drone.
In the drone, it's not anywhere else. So it's automatically in the drone. So there's no other connections. It's physically in the drone.
Which is kind of dangerous because it's like, once it locks in, no more human.
There's nothing stopping it. It's going to do what it's going to do.
In which there was a CEO of a drone company that we just saw. And they were talking about how, like, the big part of the ethical dilemma is like AI or autonomous drones, like choosing who lives and who dies, which is a lot we're going to be talking about, right?
Yeah.
And a big part of that is like, okay, if the drone operator locks it on the target, that's them choosing who the target is, and then the AI just executes from there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what happened, the reason the AI executes from there is because the drones can often get jammed when they're close to places. But it doesn't matter if the signals get jammed, because once the target's locked on, the AI's inside of it. So it's like everything's happening within the AI.
Yeah. So whenever somebody's looking for it and they find the drone, if their signal gets jammed and they already have their target, it doesn't matter anymore because the AI's already in it. It's going to take over.
Which could be problems, right? And they were talking about, like, depends on the weather too. But, like, if the drone locks in on something, the guy goes away or gets jammed, and then it hits the wrong target, or, like, I don't know, a gust of wind pushes it and it, like, switches target or something like that, and there's problems that could arise there. And so that's the kind of like AI assisted. And then there's also completely autonomous, which is just straight AI autonomously controlling drones. And this is like kind of goes into drone swarms as well, because they're kind of shifting over to where one operator can control a swarm of drones. And it's like no one operator can actually fly 50 drones, right? Like a lot of the drones are autonomous, and it's just more controlling direction and like what they're trying to do. And so that's kind of like an ethical red line as well. Like we can see, like, okay, if it's fully autonomous, then AI is making decisions at that point. We talked about how it's in UK and Russia. Oh, in our presentation too, remember how we some drones have like the wires, remember? And their range is 10 miles.
Yeah, so I mean that's basically just to help against jamming. So like the reason they have wired drones is so it's a physical wired connection. That's why like they can't, like, whoever you're attacking, they can't jam your drone or cause any signal error there.
And Max, what else is 10 miles?
What do you mean? What else
In the Ukraine and Russia, do you remember the conflict zone?
Yeah, that's basically the distance they have. So basically, wherever they're I don't know, like their setup is,
Yeah.
it's within the 10 miles.
Yeah.
So basically, wherever they're set up at, hypothetically, a drone could hit them and destroy the place anytime.
The battlefront of Ukraine and Russia right now is like a 10-mile stretch. If you're in that 10 miles, you're
in the blast zone.
You're in a drone. Like a drone could kill you. There's a high probability. And the other thing is like, okay, you're in this area. Like me and Max, let's say we go right there right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not enemies of Russia. We're not enemies of Ukraine. But like a drone
could
can
still
come
hit
and
us and kill us. Yeah. So
yeah, and it's like, but we don't know if that's AI. We don't know if that's like an operator.
Yeah.
And there's also many different ways it could kill us. A lot of drones have explosives strapped onto them about the size of this water bottle, and it just sits on top and it just kamikazes, right? Some have guns or like other things like that. So there's many different ways too. And then there's also, we were talking about drones. A lot of people, when they think drones, we're thinking about the ones that go in the sky, but there also are the autonomous, like kind of rolling ones.
Mm-hmm.
Less common though. And then we talked about how they're upping their budget. So there are central ethical dilemma. Should AI-assisted or autonomous drones ever participate in life or death military decisions? Now, the values in conflict, we have security and military efficiency versus human dignity. And another one is force protection for soldiers versus civilian risk. These are two big ones. I think first we'll go into the security and military efficiency, which is a humongous reason of why this is actually becoming so big right now.
Yeah.
As we can talk about like the missiles, right? Like that's a big thing for security and military efficiency. Because there's not a lot of ways. Drones are super cheap, so they're a really good option, and they're super effective.
Missiles are super expensive.
And yeah, and missiles cost like $1 million.
And a drone only costs 10,000. So
yeah, and even like sometimes they use missiles to fight drones, but then it's like that's crazy. Like
it's so inefficient money wise and everything. And then missiles also are just bigger and everything. They can't store as many. It's just not efficient at all. So.
Yeah. And then there's the efficiency of drones against like human dignity. Like, do we have like first? I mean, there's the other part of military efficiency of taking soldiers out of the battlefield. So like in that regard, it does save lives. But like if we're getting to a point where war is literally just like my
drones
robots versus
drones,
your robots, it's like. It's cool, no lives are being lost, but then, the civilian risk, which goes into the other one. So it's like force protection for soldiers versus like potential civilian loss. And like, that's a big thing now because a lot of like in the last, 20 years, bombings, right? That's a big thing, like in the Middle East, just bombs. Everything's rubble, Gaza, bombs, right?
Yeah.
But they were talking about like, if you have a swarm of drones and it's just like, oh yeah, kill anything that moves. Save all the buildings, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's like a potential big civilian risk, animals, like anything that moves, that's kind of a, like very, it's a
huge ethical dilemma.
Yeah, that's
a
pretty, that's just like, that's a bad, like we know that's bad, we know that's not worth, like that's not ethical. We know that already, we know that part. What the first framework we're gonna talk about is deontology. This is we're focusing more on moral duty and boundaries, and rather than just outcomes.
Yeah. Basically, they're like our framework. So, like some decisions may be morally wrong to handle a machine. So, I mean, basically, it's like, I don't know, what would you say? Like,
we say even if the AI works, like even if it does have a good outcome.
Yeah, that doesn't make it automatically right.
Yeah.
So,
and people should not be reduced to target data. A machine can't understand like surrender, innocence, dignity, or context. So like, what if you have a soldier who's surrendering on the battlefield? AI comes up to them and like, oh, you're actually my target. Like, I just did it. Like, I have to crash into you. That's all I care about, right? And so. It's not just about outcomes, but also about like the duty to be like, okay, in war, like you do take prisoners. There are like Geneva Conventions. There's rules that we have to follow. So it's not just about what like the outcome of like, oh, I won this battle, but it's also like you do have like some moral obligation to follow some sort of ethical boundaries.
Yeah.
Our other framework too is consequence scanning. This is kind of a big one because it's like a lot of people are helped, but also a lot of people are harmed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are helped, soldiers, they keep out of danger. That's a big one. Commanders, like the upper level, because they're being able to do missions more effectively, take out targets more effectively. Countries defending themselves, that's a big one as well, because if you're able to defend your country with relatively cheap drones, you don't have to have a draft. You don't have to put your own people in there. You don't it's a lot more.
It does save lives in that sense.
Yeah.
But then you have the other hand where it's like it mainly comes to civilians. Like civilians are misidentified. There's a lot of problems there. Communities are under constant surveillance by these things. Another thing that's just crazy. Having them all the time there. And then you also have future war zones facing cheap attacks. So
yeah, the other thing about cheap attacks is like we're talking about warfare, but that doesn't even limit to countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking earlier, like I could get a drone, put a bomb on it, download software onto it, and be like, okay,
and
go attack old man.
Yeah,
like it's not that hard to do. And so this is also like the other part is hard is like if it's openly available software to autonomously put AI into a drone, it's like anybody can use that for whatever purpose they want.
Mm-hmm. And that makes it extremely dangerous. So.
Yeah, for just anybody to have that, and especially because it's so cheap and accessible. And some things that can fail in it, bad data.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. So they were talking right now in Ukraine. It's like when it locks on its target, if it depends on like the weather conditions, the visibility, if it's raining, all these different factors.
Because whenever they test them and stuff, they're not in that same environment. They're testing them in a room with like no interruptions. It's like it's the same climate. Everything's tested that way. That's not the way it is in the battlefield.
And so there's a lot of like factors and variable things that could go wrong with it basically, and that's kind of dangerous. And then just like bad data it's trained off of. If I'm saying like let me, like I take a picture of Max, I give it to my AI, I'm like, okay, this is my target, right? This photo's a year old. Max grew a beard.
Yeah.
And it kills some dude that looks like Max with a beard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's bad data. Or like just other stuff. Other things could be like bias. I guess bias could be in many ways. It depends like what it's trained off of, or like for example, if autonomous drones are on a battleground and they're like, okay, I'm not supposed to kill my people, I'm supposed to kill the other team. Let's say the Russians were wearing red, right? And it has like a big bias against red or something, like Russians. It's like, oh, if any, like maybe it sees a Russian flag and it's like, oh, that must be a Russian vehicle. Mm-hmm. When really it's like World Cup and it's a car full of like people.
Civilians. Yeah.
So there's a lot of like you could have, if you put institutional bias against like the country you're fighting, that could affect a lot of things other than just
your opponent, like the soldiers.
There's jamming and hacking. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
We did some research into the jamming technology. It's kind of bad right now. It's not that good. But it really doesn't matter because like even if you do jam it, like once they lock in on you,
once it's locked, it's locked.
It's locked. And boom. And then also another part is like who has responsibility. If there's no really clear responsibility, like let's say you have a drone attack on like a village, you try to take it a target. Mm-hmm. It takes out like 2 other buildings that were like completely out of it. Who is responsible for that?
Yeah, I feel like that's really our biggest question on everything. It all comes back to accountability and responsibility for these things. So.
Yeah, and it's like, is it the person who coded it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the drone pilot? Is it the commander? Is it the AI? Is it the model, the company?
Because like once the AI takes over, it takes over. Like there's not a human.
Yeah.
They're like in the decision making for the targeting, everything. There's no human within any of that. It's all the software. So.
And it's within the AI, so it's like it's not even like once you lose signal and it's within the AI, like that is pure autonomy. Because when you have an autonomous thing normally, like I have like an autonomous AI on my computer. I can see what it does. I can tell it what not to do. I can tell if it did something wrong. Yeah. I can kind of guide it. This is just like putting a robot into a war zone with like I can't talk
Yeah.
to it, so it's like
it has the information you gave it and everything.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, like if anything's wrong, like so many things could
Yeah.
go wrong. Like with other things, we just have like bad data, bias, everything. It's
so yeah, that's a big one. And so there are practical arguments on the other side, like, you know, it can protect soldiers, it can go through jamming. It could be, some people might like refuse to use it, but like the Russia-Ukraine war, they're basically just having like, they're just innovating on drones, and it's like whoever can get drones out fastest is doing the best.
well, yeah, and that's what was even what we saw earlier.
Yeah.
It's like they were talking about. It's like, look, it's basically whoever like can figure this stuff out and use it better.
Drone swarms, yeah,
drone swarms. Like,
whoever can
that's-
get that down first is like gonna have a significant.
They're gonna have the huge like lead
yeah.
on it. So yeah. But then again, this also like raises questions like who's accountable for this sort of things.
And
like
who the point, a big part is like the point of handoff for the decisions. So like a lot where the people are drawing the lines right now is like, okay, the drone operator finds a target, the human says that's a target. It's not too different if you're like, okay, drone operator says that's a target, presses a button that says fire. And if the AI, you know, reliably does it and, you know, attacks the target, then that's good, right? But it's like, okay, what if, you know, you go back a step and really it's just like the drone pilot just goes in that direction and it's like, okay, AI, go find the target, then go, that's
what causes all the issues.
Yeah. And so it's really has like, there's a lot of like kind of split second decisions, or like if the human even says like, oh, this is my target, but maybe that wasn't the right target, and then the AI hits it anyway, it can't go back because it's like the AI is kind of taken over already. And so we've talked a lot about like these ethical dilemmas within this, and now we can talk a little bit more like the lines that could be drawn. We know that like there has to be human oversight for life and death decisions. Like AIs cannot just be.
You can't have AI have taken the accountability for that. Like there has to be a human in the loop.
So yeah, full autonomy over lethal forces should be banned. Like that's a really big risk.
Yeah, because that's where all the accountability is taken out. It's like you need a human, at least like some sort of human to make decisions, because like you can't have all these other errors with AI because it's not like it's imperfect.
Yeah,
it is. Like if you have all these other errors, you can't have that the reason for all these other like civilians dying and so on.
And AI makes up stuff a lot. Like when you're coding, for example, you can code and it'll be like, yeah, I made it. And it just wants to tell you what you want to hear. If you give, you know, an AI a mission with autonomy, and it's like, it's gonna tell you what you want to hear. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, I killed the 23 targets. Really, it only found 10 targets, and it killed another 13 just because it needed to kill 23 people.
Yeah,
like that's a big problem. So another like kind of draw the line thing is only we had full autonomy over lethal force should be banned. Then alongside with that is AI assistance, allowed only with meaningful human control. So that's like just the human in the loop. And then testing, you know, must include jamming, spoofing, civilians, and edge cases. Like the people making this technology have the responsibility of making it foolproof for what they're using it for.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many factors and there's so many people in the lines that like they have a responsibility to really make a good product that works efficiently and well and accurately, like a lot. Like same thing with the software, AI, drones, like operate, like, you know, anybody who's touching this have a responsibility.
Yeah.
So we have like the solutions that we talked about, requiring trained human to authorize lethal engagement. And a weakness about this is it can become symbolic under pressure. This is a big thing with Israel. They have this program where it's like, technically there's a human in the loop, but it's kind of like when you're like coding and it like Claude Code is asking you to press like allow and you just press allow. It's really
it's a checkbox, but there's no like.
It's
not like actually human oversight there, because it's just like, okay, do it. It's like you don't have to read like what it's gonna do.
Yeah, like the human's pressing it, but they're just pressing it because they're pressing it.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing. And then
it's not like they're actively making that decision, basically.
Yeah.
So
then these are like solutions that could be within like legislative rules, ban systems that kill without human control. That's a good solution. It's hard though to enforce that, right? And like, for example, that's really legislative is super slow for this innovative technology. To get this whole world to agree on this would be very difficult.
Yeah, especially because like AI is so new and it's like it's changing and growing so fast. It's like even like with regulation, like you cannot regulate AI because of how fast it's growing. Everything, it's like the same thing here. It's like it's hardly possible.
Yeah, and then also there's independent ethical and technical reviews before deployment, and then the weakness for that one would be militaries may resist disclosure. Like actually, we just watched a 60-minute thing where they were going over this anti-drone technology where it's like a beam that just beams it and higher thing, and they couldn't even like actually go into the technology. They just showed us what it looks like because it's like, well, how do we know like if you're doing stuff safely or not? They're just like, yeah, just take our word for it. So that's a big one too. And then just to recap, like to end out with some like current events, we have the Ukraine pilots using AI system targets to lock when communications are jammed. We have Ukraine building a defense AI center and testing swarms of autonomous systems. AI Jazeera, which is an unmanned ground systems and drones that took enemy position without human soldiers. And then we have some legislative, the UN and Red Cross pushing for binding rules on lethal automation weapons by 2026. It's currently May of 2026, so we'll see what happens with that, if it happens, when, if, how, why, maybe, I don't know. My final thought is AI is a good tool to assist in defense and attack, but the line should be drawn at making machines making final life or death decisions.
Yeah, I mean the technology is not waiting for ethics to catch up. It's like rules need to be built before it speeds up and competition actually takes over.
Yeah.
Because it's just, like I said, it's so fast growing and everything, and like it's just, you really can't do too much about it how fast it's growing. So.
And our question for you is, if AI makes war faster and more efficient, when does efficiency become the danger?
Yeah, because it's like obviously like, having autonomous, like AI drones, everything like that, super efficient.
Yeah.
But it's like, and like what it does is like, you don't have like humans doing it. Like it really takes over. But then that's when you have like the accountability and all the other errors. Because like I said, like we said, AI is not perfect yet. Like it's still growing. There's still like a lot of errors that goes into the system. And even though like having AI doing all that compared to a human, like it's crazy the possibilities of AI and everything it can do. But it's like it'll still make those errors, and that's like where the accountability is just huge.
Yeah, and so we told you the problems, ethical dilemmas, the stakeholders, our possible solutions, and where we think we like draw the line based on the ethical dilemmas. And I guess we'll leave you with this: like, where do you draw the line with autonomous, lethal weapons or drugs? Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Thank you.
I'm Jonas.
I'm Max.
Have a good day.